Hey y'all. Well, I'm a leaving the office. Oh, it's such a pretty afternoon. And I'm going to be in the scoot. So I don't know, because I don't have a clamp, how long I will be able to talk to you in the scoot. I just saw the news. Y'all, news is just getting depressing, isn't it? I don't care whose side you're on. It's just depressing. Did y'all see I'm wearing my little Hawaii earrings? Look, that's Kona wood. Can you see? It's Kona wood. Koa wood. Koa wood. That's what it is. Koa. And that's the same kind of wood that's in my little medallion here with the wave on it. That's because I was brave. I had courage. That's what a friend of mine told me. I told him I was afraid and that I was ashamed of it, that I didn't trust God out on the open sea. And then I remembered that Peter didn't either. He looked down at the waves and he sunk. He was a pretty good person to be associated or compared to. I always feel like I'm associating myself with Peter, because I've also said, oh, I would stand for the Lord no matter what. And you know, that's what Peter said. Oh, Lord, you know, I'll stand for you no matter what. And Jesus said, hey, Peter, before the cock crows 3 times, you are going to deny me. So, hey there. So, yeah. I still think he's much greater. But the bottom line is, I purposely just got out of the elevator because I didn't want her to have to sit there and listen to me vlog. Y'all, my bangs are doing weird things. Look how they're just separating little wingy things. I didn't wash it today. Ew. So anyway, but I am going to, another person getting on the elevator. But, what was I telling you? I don't even remember what I was talking about. Do y'all do this? I do this all the time. I know, y'all know. Look where I am. You can see the spiral staircase. All right, I'm going to try one more time to get on the elevator. All right, you know what I'm saying? I'm so trying to remember what it was I was talking about. Comparing myself to Peter. Oh, the reason I have this medallion. I've explained it to y'all once before. I don't like to be in deep water because I've had several boating serious situations or accidents in my life. So it's not an unfounded thing. Look, here's my outfit of the day. Can you see? That was interesting. All right. Anyway, so I was telling my life group about it, and I think 3 out of the 5 people who are men in our life group, 3 of my life group lady friends, their husband is in the military, and 2 of them are now Delta pilots because they're no longer in the military, I mean. But they were. They served our country that way. Oh, it's still at half-mast, the flag. Still, I guess. I thought it was just one day for Barbara Bush's, to remember her. Bless her heart. Look. Do you see it? Oh. You know, I don't care what you believe politically. It's always sad to me to see somebody lost their mama. That means the Bush boys lost their mom. She's a great lady. I heard some lady was saying she was glad that she was dead and she wished the rest of them would die. And I just thought, you know, God, I don't know why politics would ever be that serious that you would. I mean, I know that we got to stand for what we believe in, and that different people believe in different things. I'm going to show you all this in the background. It's so pretty. But I don't want to forget what I'm talking about right now. You should never wish death on someone because of political beliefs or spiritual beliefs. I don't wish death on anyone. I wish everyone would get saved, for one thing. That's what the Lord wants. If you're a Christian, that's what you want. Because that means you have the heart of Christ, and the heart of Christ is to save everyone. Not everyone will be saved, but that's his first desire. He's willing to go to the cross to save everyone. Of course, they got to choose him. They got to place their trust in him. And they got to choose his plan instead of their own plan, his agenda instead of our own agenda. That's what it's all about. It's turning your life over to him, trusting him enough to turn your life over to him, trusting him enough to believe that is enough. And sometimes we try to do good deeds to add to that, and that's wrong. You'll never be good enough. You know, it's always good to do some good deeds, just because it shows that you've put the Lord first. It shows that you have his heart to serve others. But it doesn't buy you a place in heaven. The only thing that buys you in a place in heaven is the blood of Jesus. So now that we've got that straight, back to my story about this medallion. It's a wave, and in back of that little wave, you see the dark spot in the back? That's a piece of wood, koa wood, just like these. So I was in my life group. My stories. So I was in my life group, and I told them about how Lance wanted to go out on the open sea when we were in Hawaii. We were on Waikiki Beach, and they had catamarans, and these are the big 40-foot catamaran sailboats that go out on the sea. And I'm like, the sea. No one can predict the sea. People say, well, he knows how to say. You don't know. You don't know if a rogue wave's coming. You don't know if a big old sourpuss white shark's going to come. You don't know. It's not a swimming pool. You know, and I didn't want to do it. I really did not want to do it. I have refrained from doing cruises, even when it was a company cruise. I don't remember where I parked. That's the only reason why I'm not doing the stairs. That, and I got to get my blood pressure now. My doctor said before I can engage in exercise, I need to go cuff myself and see what I have a little cuff that you put on your wrist and see what my blood pressure is when I get home, because I did start back on my meds. But anyway, I think I talked about that in another video, so I won't bore you with that. Boy, these doors close a little bit slow. There's my Scoot. Hi, Scoot. Hey, Buttercup. I know, cars don't really know what you're talking about, but anyway. So back to my story. Lance wanted to do it so much. And I was so afraid. I was like, Lord, I'll do this, but you're going to have to help me, because I don't want to be on the open sea. And I got out there. It was fine. Smooth sailing. We got out into the deep water, which is what happens when you get off the coast. The swells start getting bigger. The wind starts picking up usually, and because you're out over deep water, and it can truly be dangerous because of the swells. I do not remember locking this like that. Matter of fact, I know I didn't. That's weird. I'm positive I didn't. Who would lock my door for me? They shouldn't do that. I don't want it locked. Okay. Anyway, so look, y'all, I'm so mature in my 50 plus years. Look, my Hello Kitty key on my key ring, but that's on all my key rings. But anyway, so y'all, this wind has picked up and it's cold. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to probably have to stop and put up my top. No, I can't. Not on a beautiful day like today. Not on a beautiful day like today. All right, so hold on. Sit right there for a minute. I know y'all don't want to sit and look at me upside down. So the rest of the story is, I did go. We got out to the big water. I handled it as long as I could. And then I went to the ship captain, who had a man bun. And he was very muscular and very tan, because that's all he does. I just wanted to make sure he was very sober. And I said, you know, also there was like a lady with her child on the front nest, which is a net portion, canvas net portion of the front of the ship. Nobody had on safety belts, which you're required to, but no one did, including us. I was not comfortable with it. And I asked the ship's captain about that. Oh no, he's probably like, oh brother, this lady. But we're having a great time, great music. And I said, where are the safety life preservers? He said, they're right there in the center of the boat. If anybody needed them. I'm like, well, if you pop these waves, that kid's gonna go over the side. He's not tethered to the side, and he doesn't have a life preserver on. The swells are at what, probably 5 feet now? And he's what, 3 feet? Will you ever be able to fish him out of the water? Can he swim? And I was thinking, what kind of mom lets their kid be on the front of the ship in the nest? The nest, like I said, is a piece of canvas that is, when you go up on a swell and hit it, you pop up in the air. It could have popped right into the ocean. I'm sorry. I don't think that's okay. I don't see why mom would take that chance just to have a good time. I don't know. I don't even understand it. I really don't, y'all. I'm sorry if I sound like I'm a spoiled sport. But anyway. And he looked a little concerned, like he knew he probably shouldn't be doing that. That's another thing that bothered me. So anyway, the bottom line is I need to put on my little scarf here. I asked him, could we turn back towards the shoreline? And bless Lance's face, I don't know if he's embarrassed or just disappointed because he wanted to go out to the deep sea, because Lance grew up on the ocean and he is not afraid. And the guy said, not at all. And he turned back towards the shoreline, and I think everybody was glad, because some people were starting to turn green, you know, feeling sick. And because when it starts swelling that big, it's frightening. And so anyway, he did turn back. We went back to the shoreline up by the volcano. It was a blast. We had a good time, as long as we stayed, you know, a good 200 to 400 yards off the shoreline. But when you start getting out deep sea, it's a lot more serious. And I don't know that that's the boat for being out there. It kind of concerned me. But anyway, we still had a good time. There was only that one moment that Lance looked a little disappointed. And I could tell that the captain knew I was making a good point. And I wasn't just like being a sourpuss. Or he would have done what he wanted to do. And he still made it fun. They blasted the music. They were serving drinks. Nobody was eating, of course. When I say serving drinks, I mean all kinds. They had sodas. They had juices, and they had alcohol. I wouldn't advise it when you're going swoosh, swoosh. But anyway, people were having a good time in their shorts or their bathing suits, and it was just a great time. And we got back to the shore. I think Lance felt like he had just a really awesome experience. But inside of me, I was ashamed, because I said, Lord, I didn't trust you to save me out at that deep sea and go out deeper. And I'm so sorry. And when I told the life group about this story, one of the guys from the military, who's a Delta pilot now, said, Beth, you shouldn't be ashamed. What you did was show courage. And I said, no, I didn't show courage. I was afraid. He goes, courage is, even though you're afraid, doing it anyway. And I think courage is something that we see a lot in people who are sick, especially people who have cancer and have to undergo chemo and radiation, things like that, or other kinds of illnesses that require a certain amount of courage. They're going to have to go through it anyway. But even though they're afraid, but they do what they're supposed to do, and they endure, and they try as hard as they can try. A lot of times, majority of the times, they make it through. Sometimes they don't. I pray they know Jesus if they don't, so they can go on to heaven. But there's a certain amount of courage in just everyday life. So I don't know why I brought that up, but maybe you needed to hear that if you're afraid, don't feel guilty. The Lord knows we are fragile. He knows we're made of dust. That's how He made us, to be dependent on Him. Our courage comes from Him, and it's when we're able to endure, because He gets us through the fear, and He gets us through what we're going through anyway. All right, love y'all. I need to switch gears here and get my hands only focused on the steering wheel and not holding this phone. Love y'all. Bye.